Good morning students. Before first unit test, we learn 3 lesson of history, 1 lesson of civics and 3 lesson of geography. Today we are going to learn the second lesson of civics, that is preamble to the constitution. Okay. We learn some information about the different things in a previous lesson. In that we took some information about the rules and the administration, how the Constituent Assembly made the constitution for India. Our representatives have to carry out the administration as per law given in a constitution. All these information we learn in a last lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn some information about the preamble. Every one of you familiar with preamble, is it correct? Yes. At the time of assembly in a school, every day we read preamble. Then what is mean by preamble? Hmm? A preamble means introductory statement in a constitution that explain the philosophy and objectives. Preamble presents the intention of its framers, history behind the creation, and the core values as well as principle of the nation. We learn that, or you know that, every book have its own introduction at the beginning of the book. Constitution is a rule book that we learn in a last lesson. So the constitution also have a introduction to its beginning. This introduction is known as preamble. In this preamble or in this introduction, some objectives as well as philosophy of the constitution given to us. We are going to learn some information about this preamble or introduction of a constitution in this lesson. Okay. Then what information that preamble gives to us, or which things tells by the preamble to us? Preamble tells us some information that we will learn now. First one, the objectives. What are the objectives of the constitution? That given in a preamble. So preamble said us the objectives of a nation. The second one, aims. The aims of law making in a constitution given in a preamble. That aims are given by the preamble to us. Some important values and the thoughts as well as ideas given in a preamble. Next one, what are the goals of a India, or what are the goals of a particular country given in the preamble? That states the goals of the particular nation. Means the preamble of a Indian constitution gives us the goal of the India, as well as philosophy and the administration given in the preamble. How we have to learn the run the country, how we have to give the administration to our country, all these things given in a preamble. So preamble is one of the important document. Preamble is an introductory document. It tells us objectives, aims, as well as philosophy of the Indian constitution. Yes, one mark question is there. What does constitution preamble gives to us? Preamble gives to us objectives, aims, as well as philosophy of Indian constitution. Understood this? Okay. Now see to the left side of this image, the constitution preamble given to you. Here the preamble of the Indian constitution. Read this preamble carefully. This preamble begins with the words "We, the people of India." It tells about the Indians to continue India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. We shall learn this concept one by one. All these words are very important. The words given in a capital letters in a preamble we are going to learn in this lesson. So, these are the important words. When you read this preamble, underline these important words. Which words are they? Hmm? Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic. In a first paragraph, these five important words are given to you. We will learn one by one. First one, sovereign state. Here, the state word comes for a country. State means not a Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka like this. No. These state words come for a whole country. Sovereign state means sovereign country. Understood this? Okay. Don't confuse it. The word sovereign means that the state is not under the control of foreign power. Sovereignty means the ultimate authority given to yourself. To whom the ultimate authority given? Ultimate authority is given to you means the people of India or the citizens of India have that ultimate authority to govern yourself. Okay. India was ruled by the British for a long period or long time. When the British rule was there in India, we have not power to govern ourselves. We could not take any decisions. All power was in a Britisher's hand. But India became independent on 15th August 1947 and India became a sovereign. We are free to take our own decisions means there was no foreign disturbance to us, so India became the sovereign. Answer in a one sentence. When India became the sovereign state, from 15th August 1947 India became the sovereign state. The most important goal of a freedom struggle was to acquire the sovereignty, means ultimate power of the decisions taking in the hand of Indians. So we focus on this sovereignty. People elect their representatives and grant them permission to use the sovereign authority on their behalf. Means whatever the representatives are there, they work or they ruled India by the people. Means people gave some authority or permission to them to run the country. That's why they are able to take some decisions regarding to the country. Now we are free to take the decisions related to the education, health, infrastructure, foreign affairs, etc. No need to take the permission from the foreign powers. Means here there is a no disturbance by the foreigners to us. We are free. There is a no control for the foreign powers on us. So India is a sovereign state. Understood what is meant by sovereign? There is no control of foreign power on a country. That country is known as sovereign state. Today we are free to take our decisions. That's why India is a sovereign state. Next one, socialist state. Socialist state is a such state where the gap between rich and poor is minimum. The gap between rich and poor is minimum. You think that, sir, then how India is a socialist state? Here, some are very rich people and some are very poor. They are beggar, not have the house, not have the things to eat. Then, how the gap between rich and poor is minimum in India and how India is a socialist state? Your question is correct. Where the minimum gap is there in between rich and the poor is known as the socialist state. In a socialist state, government tries to decrease the gap between rich and poor. In India, Indian government tries to control or to decrease the gap between rich and poor. They took the more taxes from the rich people and used that money for the welfare of the peoples. So India is a socialist state. In a socialist state, all have rights over the wealth of country. What are the wealth of country? Whatever the resources are there in a country, that all resources are known as the wealth of a country. For example, coal, petrol, air, forest, or land, all these are the resources. These resources are known as the wealth of country. On all these resources or wealth, all people have the equal rights. There is a no discrimination due to rich and poor. Some are poor, don't give anything to them. Some are rich, give all things to them. Like this discrimination government cannot do. All these resources have the we have to give the rights to the people equally in that resources. Okay. The third one is there, secular state. Preamble states that the secularism is a one of our important goal. Yes, preamble state that the secularism is a one of our important goal. In a secular state, all religions are considered as a equal. There is a no discrimination of a people on the basis of caste or religion. In a jobs, in a opportunities, all religions are equal. Government gives equal chance to the all citizens of the different religions. No religion is considered to be the state religion. Means, take this example, Pakistan is a Islamic state, Nepal is a Hindu country, then India have any religion? No, there is a no particular religion of India. India is a secular state. All the citizens are free to follow their own religion. State cannot discriminate among the citizens on the basis of religion. Underline this line on the page number 68. It will come into the true and false. Yes, page number 68, downside this line is given to you. Many times ask for the true and false. What is the statement? Government cannot discriminate the people or citizens on the basis of religion. It is true. Government cannot discriminate the people on the basis of religion. It is a true statement. Okay. Understood? Secular state means government cannot discriminate the people. The people who are living in India, they can follow their own religion, but there is a no particular religion for a country or for a government. Government or the India is a secular state. Understood this? The next one, the democratic state, or the democratic country. In a democracy, power is there in the hands of people, but it is not possible that the all people come together and take a decisions. So elections are conducted after a fixed time of period. People elect their representatives, and these representatives set these representatives sit in a particular place like the parliament or legislature. They make the policies for the people's welfare and run country as per procedure given in a constitution. What is meant by democracy? In a democracy, all power is given to the citizens, but it is not possible to the all citizens come together and take a decision because the population is more. So the people elect their representatives for some period. when that representatives come together at a particular place, means in a parliament or legislature, and they took the decisions and they run the country. This process is known as the democracy, or which country follow this process, they are known as democratic state. In India, the people elect their representatives after 5 years, and all these representatives sit in a parliament which is situated in Delhi, and they run a country. That's why India is a democratic state. See here the picture of parliament given to you. The representatives elected by the people sit here and they run the country. In India, uh, after every 5 years, elections were election held, and in that election, people elect their representatives. That's why India is a democratic state. Here also, for the true and false or match the pairs question is there. India is dash dash. India is a democratic state, or one side India, in another column democratic state. We have to match the pairs. Democratic state. Okay. In a country where the people elect their representatives and that representatives run the country, that country is known as democratic state or democratic country. In India also, we elect some representatives to run the country, to administer the country, and these representatives run the country as laws given in a constitution. So India is a democratic state. Understood? And the next one is republic state. There are different things, democratic and the republic. Okay, India is a republic country. All the public position in a republic are elected by the people. Yes, no public position is occupied on the basis of hereditary. Hereditary means generation by generation. Father got one position, after that his son, after that his son. Like this, hereditary positions are not there in India. Here, positions are public positions are elected by the people. The positions like president, prime minister, chief minister, mayor, sarpanch, all these are the public positions, and all these positions are elected by the people. Any Indian citizens fulfilling the criteria for this post, then they can stand in election. If they are elected, then they they are selected as a that particular post. Means here any citizens are allowed to occupy that post in India. Here no generation to generation things are given to the people. This position may not be occupied by the members of a single family following the principles of hereditary in republic. In republic, hereditary posts are not there. Every time we have to face for the elections. Okay, but there is a difference in England. England is a democratic country but not republic. Sir, how it is possible? Hmm? See, in India, the highest post is their president, and we elect the president for 5 years. But in England, highest post is there of queen, and that queen post is based on hereditary. Means one queen died, after that her daughter become, or her daughter-in-law become the next queen. Means that queen position goes to the one family only. There is a no election for that post. That's why England is a democratic country but not republic. India is a republic as well as democratic country. Understood this? Where the highest post is elected by the people, that or that country is known as the republic, or any public positions are elected by the people, that country is known as republic. In India, democracy also there and republic also there. Understood this? You have to know these things. England is a democratic country but not the republic. Understood this? Okay. Today we learn some information about the sovereign state, socialist state, secular state, democratic state and the republic state. Tomorrow we are going to learn some information about the values given in a preamble. Thank you.